It's Ash from Super Videos back for another video. In this video we're going to be talking about Rick and Negan and what's going to happen at the end of Season 8, at the end of All Out War. So this video contains spoilers, so if you're not a comic reader, you may not want to watch the video because it may spoil things for you. Because I'm going to talk about what happens in the comics and it's very likely that the same thing is going to happen in the show as well. So if you don't want things to be spoiled for you, just don't watch the video. So that being said, we're going to be talking spoilers in 3, 2, 1. So in this video we're going to be talking about, will Rick kill Negan or imprison him? So obviously for comic readers, you know at the end of the war in the comic book, Negan ends up losing the war, but Rick doesn't kill him. He throws Negan in jail and basically lets him suffer in the jail cell and see how Alexandria and all of these communities will rebuild and become better than they were ever before. So it's like a way for Negan to see what could have been if he worked with them. So that's in the comics. Now, I've had a lot of questions in the past Q&As talking about Negan, asking about his death and everything like that. And I've always said that I think that they're not going to change Negan's story in the show and they're going to keep it the same. So they're going to have Rick throw Negan in the jail cell just like he did in the comics and not kill him. But there's actually two things that kind of changed my mind a little bit. Now I have some different thoughts. I still think that it's very likely that they're going to do the same thing, but there is a part of me that thinks that they may go a different route because of two main things. The first thing is Rick Grimes actually saying, "I'm going to kill you." So obviously, right after the Lucille death in the comic book, Rick said the same thing. So right after the death, obviously in the comic book, it was just one Lucille victim and it was Glenn. Rick was face to face with Negan and Rick says, "I'm gonna kill you. Not today, not tomorrow, but I'm gonna kill you." And obviously that happened in the TV show as well. And I didn't think too much of it. And I just thought that they were just being faithful to the comics. They were following the comics. And I didn't think that there was anything there. But having seen the finale of Season 7 and having Rick saying, "I'm gonna kill you again," saying not today, not tomorrow, but I'm gonna kill you, and adding to it saying that you're all already dead, I'm beginning to think that there's something there. Because in the comics, we didn't see a lot of Rick's anger towards Negan. We didn't see a lot of that. We did see Rick was obviously angry at Negan because of the things Negan has done. He was obviously going to kill him, but something changed. Something happened by the end of the war that made him just throw him in jail rather than kill him. The main part of that was, like I said, to see Negan witness Alexandria and all of the other communities become better than they were ever before. But in the TV show, it seems like there's this anger inside of Rick. There's this fuel inside of him that drives him to want to fight in this war because he wants to be in a position where he kills Negan. That's his primary concern. I think for Rick at the moment, he just wants Negan dead. And obviously, because of that, it may be different because, like I said, in the comics, we didn't see that anger as extreme as it is in the TV show. So because of that, it's going to be very difficult at this point for me to see Rick not killing Negan at the end of the war. That being said, I'm split 50-50. A part of me totally believes that they're not going to change the comics and remix it this much, and they're going to follow the comics and throw Negan in jail. The other part of me says that because Rick wants Negan dead, he's said repeatedly that he's going to kill Negan. It's just impossible. And just to kind of add to that, in the comic book, Negan is responsible for only 2 main deaths before the war. Spencer and Glenn. But in the TV show, they obviously remixed it by having the double death in the premiere, having Abraham and Glenn, but then the double kill in the mid-season finale with Olivia and Spencer. So it seems like there's a lot of casualties even before the war. And at this point, I think for Rick, he's beginning to see that no matter what he does, people are going to end up dying. And he wants to end that. And the only way he sees this happening is for him to go to war with Negan and at the end of the war, kill him. So because of this and because of the massive amount of casualties that Rick's group has had so far, it's just difficult to think that Rick is not going to kill Negan. So that's why I'm having this split thought about whether Rick is going to kill Negan. So that's the first part of it. The second part that really adds to it is Daryl. So obviously in the TV show, we've seen Daryl hates Negan. He hates Negan's guts. And there's no way in hell that Daryl is going to allow Rick to just throw Negan in jail and not kill him. Even if Rick wants to do that, wants to throw Negan in a jail cell, I don't think Daryl is going to be good with that. I don't think Daryl is going to accept that. So that's going to create some sort of conflict between these two characters. So either we're going to have that conflict, or Rick is just going to kill Negan. And because of these two things, Daryl and Rick repeatedly saying that Rick is going to kill Negan, I think that it's very likely that we may see a big remix of the story in the comics and have Rick just kill Negan. Now the main thing is, would it work? Because if Rick kills Negan, what do we do after? Obviously in the comics, Negan has a somewhat big role even after his arc is complete. So it's going to be difficult to both predict and imagine Rick not killing Negan. But at the same time, with everything that I said, it's going to be difficult to imagine Rick killing Negan either. So it's a confusing thing at the moment for me. I just can't decide. I want to know your opinions about this. What do you think about Rick and Negan? Do you think Rick is going to kill Negan at the end of the war? Or do you think that he's going to throw him in a jail cell? And what do you think that's going to do to the story? Do you think that that's going to create some sort of conflict between Rick and Daryl and everybody else? Or do you think that it's just going to be the same way as it was in the comics, that everyone is just going to accept it? And if you think that Rick is going to kill Negan, what do you think that's going to do to the story? Do you think that the story is going to progress like it does in the comics the same way and work? Or do you think that it's just going to get ruined at some point? That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I'll be back for another video.